Women logic. Don't sexualize me unless I want you to. Yeah, that is, in fact, the most basic concept of consent. Yeah. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you, guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we're going to be returning once again to r/AreTheStraightsOK, the subreddit that really makes you wonder, are the straights okay? These ones certainly aren't. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention the YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video, so if that is something that interests you, please do consider it, as it really helps support the channel. Other than that, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? My friend has been dating this woman for 3 years. Today he posted a pic of them both, and I playfully asked him when he will propose. This guy said, "She's not my type for a wife." 3 years. So I can't quite understand spending that long with someone that you know you wouldn't want to marry or spend the rest of your life with, right? Like, I can understand, you have friends and you don't want to marry them, but I'm not in a romantic relationship with most of my friends, I'm in a romantic relationship with one of my best friends, Leo, but I also can very much see myself marrying Leo. The only reason that we haven't gotten married is financial reasons. It feels like you're wasting someone's life. If you're dating someone without the intention of marrying them ever, and you've been with them for 3 years, that feels like you're wasting their life for 3 years. Unless they 100% know that you don't want to marry them, are you not wasting their life? Are you not wasting literally years of their life leading them on for something that they think is going to happen? I don't get it. A third of male university students say they would rape a woman if there were no consequences. Now, this one I didn't want to actually believe. I just simply did not want to believe this, so I looked up the article myself to read it because, titles can be sensationalized. It's worse, actually. It's worse than it sounds. So this was in 2015, so, hopefully in 10 years, something might have improved. But let's just have a read of a bit of the article. Roughly 1/3 of male students who took part in a study would rape a woman if there were no consequences, according to a new scientific study. The research published in the scientific journal Violence and Gender presented mostly white American participants a questionnaire on how they would act in certain sexual situations. Amongst other questions, they were asked how they would act in a situation where they could have sexual intercourse with a woman against her will if nobody would ever know and there wouldn't be any consequences. 31% of all men participating in the study would force a woman to have sexual intercourse in such a consequence-free situation, which is rape. Worryingly, most men who indicated they would commit rape did not even recognize their actions as such. When explicitly asked whether they would rape a woman if there were no consequences, only 13.6% of participants said they would do so, a marked fall on those who described that they would commit rape. So basically, in 2015, there was a study done where a bunch of university students were surveyed, and 31% of the male students said that they would force a woman into sexual intercourse with them if it meant that there were no consequences. However, less than half of those people said that they would rape a woman if there were no consequences. So not only did 31% of men say they would rape a woman if there were no consequences, over half of them didn't realize that that is what they were saying. Over half of these men didn't understand that forcing a woman into sex who doesn't want to have it is rape. Like, the title didn't convey that. It was worse. It was actually worse than what the title conveyed. Fox News, Ukraine refugee slaughtered on train. Why would that be the picture you would choose? I can't help but feel like Fox News is probably presenting this in a she was asking for it kind of way. Because there's no other reason that is the photo you would use of someone who was murdered. I know it's Fox News, it's low-hanging fruit. Not only is it Fox News, but they've got Ben Shapiro in on the episode. But come on, even for Fox News. I asked a guy who was coming over tonight to help me install a paper towel holder while he was here. And what is wrong with men? I'll see how I feel when I get there. I'm usually handy, but right now I don't know. Actually, I'm really sorry about this, but I just got really grossed out by your question of helping you do something, because I have never had help for anything my whole life and almost never ask. I'm sorry, but I don't want to come over anymore, and I wish you the best of luck. Take care. Well, Taryn, if it's any reassurance, you've definitely dodged a bullet. If this was his reaction to you asking him to help with something, like what is essentially drilling some holes into a wall to put something up, like that's it. That's all it would have taken for him to do. For this to be his reaction, for his reaction to literally be, you asked me to do something like really simple for you. I'm sorry, this relationship isn't gonna work out. I'm gone. Like for him to react this badly to being asked one thing, the relationship wouldn't have been good. It would not have been a good time. You have dodged the hugest bullet. I love Picasso. He's my favorite artist. Most of his paintings are women crying. You know why? Because he raped them, abused them, and said they were so pretty when suffering, he had to paint them. He disgusts me, and still, it's one of the only artists we work on class. So this one, I actually got a comment that went more into depth on this because I don't know specifics about raping women with Picasso, but I do know that he was a raging, horrible, abusive misogynist, and this person goes more into depth than that. So we're just gonna read that. So I had to do a presentation on his mistresses during art school. Let's go down the list. Fernande Olivier was an artist's model he met in 1904. In her diary, she describes that Picasso, due to a sort of morbid jealousy, kept me as a recluse. He forbid her from modeling for other artists, cutting off her source of income. In 1907, she adopted a 13-year-old girl, but returned her to the orphanage when Picasso made her pose nude for him. Yikes. Olga Koklova was a Russian ballerina he met in 1917, and they married a year later. After they had their son, Paulo, the relationship deteriorated and he started cheating on her in 1923. In 1927, he, in his 40s, started an affair with a 17-year-old girl named Marie-Therese Walter, and in 1934, she became pregnant with his daughter, Maya. Olga left him and he discarded Marie not long after. In 1935, he met Dora Maar. He was 54 and she was 28. Dora was an artist and photographer in her own right. Picasso beat her and cheated on her, and after their relationship, she had to do electroshock therapy. She quit photography because her most well-known work were paintings of Guernica, Picasso's warm mural, and she hated being associated with him. Dora Maar is also the person who famously said to Picasso that as an artist, you may be extraordinary, but morally speaking, you're worthless. Strong words, strong words. Then he met Francois Guillot in 1943. She was 23 and he was 63. She was also an artist, and they had 2 children, Claude and Paloma. Also beat her, refused to see their children after she left him, and published a book about their relationship. She ended up marrying the inventor of the polio vaccine and lived to be 101. Well, that's nice at least. Jacqueline Roque was the last woman considered to be one of his muses and his second wife. She was 26 and he was 72. He was actually loyal to her and never said anything about being abused. My theory is that he was too geriatric to do it at this point. Banned his children from attending Picasso's funeral, which led to his grandson committing suicide. Had a long legal battle with Claude and Paloma over their inheritance, after which she killed herself. So yeah, Picasso had a pattern of taking pretty young girls under his wing and ruining their lives. Yes, so personally, I've never really liked Picasso's art anyway. It's just never been my thing. A lot of people like it. He's a very famous artist, whatever. I've never really been a fan of it regardless before I knew about him as a person. But like, given that he was a horrible, flaming, abusive misogynist, I don't feel bad for not liking his art, you know? I feel like there are so many other more interesting artists that do things like Picasso, you know, that do bizarre and surreal and warped artworks that aren't abusive people, maybe, perhaps. If men aren't allowed to be gynecologists, then women shouldn't be allowed to be urologists. Bite me. All for equality, right? The majority of gynecologists are men. What are you smoking? Right, 2 points. Point 1, no one's saying that men can't be gynecologists. This is just a clear straw man. No one is saying that. At best, people are probably saying maybe male gynecologists should actually listen to women when women say things about their own bodies because they know their own medical history and bodies better than a male gynecologist. So they should probably listen to them about symptoms and issues, especially ones that they've already gone down certain avenues and testing paths. Maybe. Second point, women piss. I'm going to elaborate. Urologists are not specifically male or female oriented. Everyone pisses. Urologists focus on the urethra and the bladder. Everyone has one. I don't understand why they should have to be only men. That's what? I spent 14 years of bodybuilding to look like this. The girl I'm in love with is dating a guy who can't bench 135 pounds. He's not even rich. Kill me now. What? A woman is dating a guy based on her personal preferences and probably personality? That's crazy, dude. That's crazy that a woman might date a guy based on the personality and the connections they have instead of the fact that he's a bodybuilder who has a lot of money. Also, for a lot of people, being that jacked isn't attractive. I'm sorry, but for some people it is. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has personal preferences, but I'm pansexual. I like men and women. I'm currently dating a man. I don't find someone that buff attractive, with the exception actually of some women. But for men, and to be fair, even with women that buff, I don't really find attractive. With men, I definitely don't. Sorry, but that's not to say, again, that some people don't find that attractive, because absolutely people do. And I would argue that if someone finds that attractive, you're going to have a much more fulfilling relationship with someone that does find that attractive. If this is the kind of look that you want to have, if that's how you feel the best in your own body, then you should find someone who values that rather than someone who doesn't. And if someone is dating someone else who isn't jacked, then she clearly doesn't value that in the way that you would want her to. Just saying. Being murdered by a man is the leading cause of death in 18 to 44-year-old women globally. But we're concerned about the male loneliness epidemic. I think the murder and sexual violence goes up when more men are lonely and frustrated. It's a bad recipe for society in general. Well then, you're not doing yourself any favors. If being lonely is making you violent, being violent is making you lonely. Like, the male loneliness epidemic is a lie basically exclusively pushed by right-wing talking heads. The whole concept of it is that because women have autonomy, they can choose who to marry, they can choose who to sleep with, they can choose to get divorces if they're not happy in a relationship. Because women have the choice to be with who they want to be with, suddenly men who don't think women should have that choice are not getting women anymore. It's almost like the men who don't respect women's bodies, rights, and autonomy are not attractive to women who value those things about themselves. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. The epidemic is that there are a lot of men out there who don't see women as human beings who get to make choices for themselves. It's really that simple. There's a reason that this male loneliness epidemic seems to be mostly amongst misogynists. Roommate wanted. Single man, 44, searching for a roommate. Must be female, aged 18 to 25, and single. Must be willing to cook and clean. 1-bedroom apartment. You can use the couch until you are comfortable enough to share a room. No pets, no drinking, no drugs, and no male friends allowed. My home has a no closed doors policy. This is for safety. $400 a month. Call this number. This one's wild to me because $400 a month for a one-room apartment doesn't sound crazy until you realize that this guy's renting that apartment, right? And he wants you to cook and clean for him and to have a no-doors policy for him. Basically, this guy wants a servant and he wants you to pay him the privilege of being his servant. $400 a month that you're paying to cook and clean after a guy that doesn't want to do it himself in a one-bed apartment is quite frankly insane. You know, live-in maids and servants, like live-in servants are a thing and they get paid to live there? Why on earth would anyone pay you to be your servant? What's the ideal age to get married? Biologically, 15. Socially, 26. Legally, after 18. Culturally, 24 to 28. Economically, above 30. And logically, never. So let's check this guy's hard drive, please. Biologically, marriage doesn't exist. It's a social construct. There is no biological concept of marriage. There's partnering for life, and there's partnering not for life. But there is no such thing as marriage outside of the societal construct of marriage, right? But also, these guys love claiming that biologically, like 15-year-olds is the best age to like get married and have children, but biology doesn't even state that. They constantly say this and push this, but if you actually look into it, the chances of lifelong damaging effects caused to children when they get pregnant and give birth is so much higher when you're younger, right? But it's just like, it's insane to me that these guys will constantly push this like, oh, biology says that underage girls are the best ones. It doesn't say that at all. The body of a pregnant woman is the ultimate sign of a wife's submission. She submits her body. She overcomes the fear of childbirth. She changes her future, her time and energy for her husband, to bear, care, and educate his legacy, to honor his last name. This is precisely why feminists are so insanely pro-abortion. Pregnancy is submission. Well, if you weren't already put off of having a child, I'm sorry, this'll do it. You might have been thinking, man, I really like my partner and I would like to have a child with them. I'm sorry that I have now had to put forward this view from this person that having a child and bearing a child is the ultimate submission to your husband. Gross. I already didn't want kids, but now I definitely don't. That's certainly not persuaded me in favor of it. Ugh. Do not like. Dislike very much. Gross. No. And that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. Oh boy. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below. Or equally, you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.